Gamers, sir, I have something for you today from the wonderful people at Gamesir. This is a new controller. It is an Xbox designed controller that works on Xbox and PC. This is the box. The G7 SE rolls right off the tongue. It's a wired controller for Xbox. Comes with 1 month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which actually gets you access to the PC stuff. There are a number of things that led me to purchase this controller. The Hall Effect 3D joysticks are pretty much the only reason I will purchase a controller nowadays. And it's much better than using potentiometers that wear out over time. So, this controller joins the leagues of other controllers I've reviewed, like the Gully Kit King Kong Pro 2, and then, of course, the 8BitDo wireless ultimate Bluetooth controller that I use pretty heavily when I'm playing Switch, but it works for both. But what's interesting is that this controller comes off being the lightest, and there's probably a big reason for that. It's because it's a wired controller. Now, I know some of you are probably groaning and saying, why would anyone bother in the modern day to use a wired controller? Why, when there is the convenience of going wireless? Well, think about it. If you're a content creator, or if you're just a gamer in general, oftentimes you're fairly close to your PC or your console or wherever you are. It's very rare that you're so far away that wireless is the only option. Now, it does seem like Gamesir has thought ahead in this respect. They have given us a freakishly long fabric cable, actually, so not something that's going to tear up easily, and it comes with a Gamesir Velcro strap, which happens to hold on to the USB port there, so you won't be losing it, and whenever you're done with the controller, you can simply roll up the cord neatly for storage, and you're good to go. And so, on the other end, of course, you've got your USB-C port, which is really nice. These things, I have not had a single USB-C cable like this wear out on me, whether it's the Nintendo Switch or the Gully Kit King Kong Pro 2 or any other controller that has these brand new USB-C. I have not found them to bend or break or damage in the way that some of the older USBs on other controllers that you would have. You plug it in, then you flip it over, and then you plug it in, and then it would work. And it was like, come on, you can never tell which side's up sometimes. But there are also some other features that are really interesting. So, of course, you've got start and back, but here you got the share button, as you would in a modern Xbox controller. And then, of course, you've got the mute button right here. Or no, this is the M button, which actually allows you to adjust the master volume up and down and the game volume left to right. So you can hold this button down and simply use the D-pad up, down, left, right, however, to adjust your mic and stuff. Also, another nifty thing is that they've actually added a mute button here. So you plug in your headset, you want to mute for some reason, maybe you need to talk to somebody, or maybe you need radio silence on comms, you can simply just press that button in. Another thing is that this even manages to compete with premium controllers because it does have 2 paddles on the back. And this is pretty dope. This will allow for 2 extra things to be mapped, and of course you can use the app the Xbox app to simply adjust these various things here. The other thing that's really cool is the color. I chose the white controller, and it's got this sort of light blue aqua ring here around the sticks, and then each of the buttons, the Y button, each one has its own color, so like Y is yellow, X is blue, B is red, A is green, and it's not the whole button, so it's it's definitely sort of a minimalist look on the controller, and sort of a minimalist take. And so, you know, some people may want more or less color in their controllers, but I think this is an interesting design that you can work with here. But yeah, the Gamesir G7 SE, a very fun little controller. It's list price $49.99 here in the States, but I believe it's on sale on Amazon, 10% off, $44.99 at the time of publishing this video. And I will have a link in the description down below. One other interesting thing about the paddles is that there's actually lock buttons. So if you turn these lock buttons, the paddles, no click. That is my finger just touching a hard surface. So if you're not going to use them, or if there's a certain game where you don't need those, or maybe you mapped your grenades and melee to this and you're accidentally throwing grenades and it's starting to become a nuisance, you can simply just switch the lock button. Now, if I switch it the other way, it obviously clicks now. So now that it's switched to the unlock position, I can actually map those buttons. Also, interesting thing that they've done here is that the triggers have a little bit of a rough grip here on both sides, and that just feels really good on your fingers. And then they have the same thing around the edge of the thumbsticks, and even the middle is a nice smooth area there to rest the tip of your thumbs on. Then this is the other strange thing. LB and RB, they're smooth across the top, but on the back right here, there's a little bit of rough. And that's sort of to prevent slippage. It'll prevent your fingers from probably slipping and accidentally hitting one of the triggers in games like Elden Ring or Dark Souls or Sekiro Shadows Die Twice or something, where you want precise control over the shoulder buttons. And the other thing is, the shoulder buttons actually feel like they're decently durable. I've gone through standard Xbox controllers shoulder buttons very quickly playing games like Sekiro and Elden Ring, whether it's on my PC or my Xbox. These buttons, and even with Destiny, hitting the melee button, grenades, stuff like that, these buttons can take a lot of abuse, even if you're not being rough with them. The other thing that's really interesting is that they've done Hall effect analog triggers with vibrations. So that also means that you don't have some dinky little spring that's held together by just gravity that's going to fall apart should you have to take this controller apart. And it also means that these triggers are probably going to last longer. And if you're playing shooting games or fighting games or whatever it may be, these games can put a lot of wear and tear on those triggers. And those can be the other first things that go out if you're not succumbing to stick drift. But thankfully, the Hall effect sticks that were originally implemented on PS3 controllers and Dreamcast controllers, and now we're seeing a resurgence in other controllers, they're back, and I have not had a single controller get worn out in this process. So, I'm going to plug it in, and there we go. We have our indicator light, and it's already synced up to my PC. Looks great. Feels good. All the buttons feel quality. The D-pad is pretty standard. It's a little bit clicky, but kind of in a nice, you know, rougher sort of tactile sense. It's not clicky like a button would be. Of course, your standard buttons right there are available. And so, I have to say, this is definitely a controller that I'm going to highly recommend. The Gamesir G7 SE wired controller works on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Windows 10 and 11. It's plug and play. It's very simple. Has a 3.5mm audio jack. And I do believe they have a black version of the controller as well. But I thought, you know what? This would be an interesting and a little bit of a different color palette for me to have when I'm looking at all the controllers on my desk. There's a lot of them that are usually varying colors of black. There's not very many that I have that are white anymore other than Xbox 360 controllers or my Starfield controller. Now, what's super interesting is that there's also grip here on the sides, And this measures in as the lightest controller in my collection, even lighter than the GameCube Switch Pro controller. I just simply do not have another controller to compare it to. Every single controller is heavier than this one. So if that matters to you, if you're getting some sort of fatigue, then this controller might be a good fit for you. I think that this cable should be decently long enough, and of course the controller comes with instructions, and it comes with some stickers, and then of course your Game Pass Ultimate code where you get 1 month free. I can't wait to try this out and put some miles on this controller. If you have any questions, put them in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed this, and once again, really excited to have another controller on deck that I can sort of look at and review, and you can kind of see that sort of, it's really sort of a turquoise color here, and it really does add a nice accent to the controller. So yeah, it's a beautiful piece of equipment. You can tell it is made with love, and I'm going to put it through some pretty grueling testing, whether it's on some of the fighting games I have or on Call of Duty, and I will definitely test it out on some Gears of War on Saturday. So once again, I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank Gamesir for joining the Hall Effect Nation here, I guess, because this is the sign of, hey, we want to sell a controller that's going to last. We're not in the business of having to resell you controllers over and over. We want to make a great product that's going to last for the life of your console and potentially even further. And I could see this as a controller that sits by my side, and now I'm going to have to agonize over which extremely durable and really handy Hall Effect controller I'm going to pick up and play with. So it's going to make things difficult, but thank you, Gamesir. The G7 SE wired controller. Who knew that I would want a wired controller in 2023? Thank you for watching. Take care, be safe, and we'll see you next time, gamers. Wait. Listen. I know the company is called Gamesir, but women can use these controllers too. Yeah, it's not exclusive, okay? Like, anybody can. All right. Bye.